Fern just dialed 911.
Which is
Fern just dialed
the exact reason we just knocked Keith out.
All right.
Well,
So,
Fern
but
doesn't say anyway, this is going forward.
before you dial 911, I'll allow Remy to say what he's saying. So what did Remy say?
At this point, he's an investigator. He writes papers. We put him asleep. If Fabian's behind this, we get him into the dream world. We get him to talk to the humans. See if he can give them a summary of what's happened around here. Maybe he can help them get out of there. We're not calling the cops.
How are we going to know if it will work?
We don't. And then Bullet will go and will fly off and get someone else if he has to.
I could do that.
See, that's
If the
it.
rocket people show up again, we need to ring the cops, or not the cops, or the Joys.
It could be anyone
I have
else.
to ring the cops.
Not the cops.
Yeah, that's what I've been suggesting.
I think we need one more shot at getting these humans up before we involve anyone else. I don't think that's a good idea. I'm under the heavy suspicion that there's a big R at play. Yes, we've gotten that. That's been proven, but we also have a scenario where a lot of the people that we call our trainers or bosses or masters or whatever, they won't want to have cops come here and ask them more questions about anything. And right now we have a floating boy that is the only thing that I think is behind this, and it could be an aura, and we either need to move the boy out of here so that these humans wake up, or we have to knock out the boy and wake him up. Or not knock out the boy, so we have to attack the boy.
Wait, was the girl points at Tiffany even here when she fell? No, she couldn't have been asleep.
No, we flew her here.
Oh boy, that just broke my whole argument.
Should we ring him?
Well, now
Remy's
he's
like, oh.
hypnosis on Fern. No.
How many days could you do that?
Soon only Remy will be awake.
Do you hypnosis, Pinky?
Actually, yes, I do.
All right.
Yes, I do. Because
Well,
maybe
here's the
we can get a
awesome.
Pokemon into the dream world, and maybe
Sure.
Fern can.
Go ahead and roll your hypnosis again.
So wait, did Remy learn about the dream world through an occult or something?
But he figured out that there could be a psychic thing that's making people think things that have to do with thinking that Noir was a Mewtwo. He's heard about people pretending to the bank account thing. So he's just associating a lot of things that assume there's a lot of psychic stuff going on right now, and the only thing that hasn't changed its status is sleeping Fabian, who seems to be in blissful joy while everyone else is like, getting kidnapped and stuff. So it's more a deduction of he needs Fabian to go or someone to go into the dream world and figure this out.
So Remy attempts to hypnotize Inky, but he ends up not succeeding. And Inky starts shaking off. Sorry, I think I dozed off a little bit there just for a moment.
His fault. He points at Fabian. That must be something he did.
No, it wasn't. What is your end game with putting people to sleep? Pokemon, more specifically, because the humans.
Can I get-
Someone needs to get into these heads.
I think Fern is still calling.
Boom, boom.
Okay, so
going
Fern is
nowhere.
gonna call. All right, so Fern dials 911, and then it starts ringing. It's gonna start ringing, and then there will be an operator who will answer and say, 911, what's your emergency?
Yep, yep.
Hello?
Remy starts licking his paws. Go on.
Hello? I'm sorry, could you please speak louder? Please state your emergency. Hello?
Like
gotta
distress
speak up.
calls, like.
and
You can phrase the call.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they can. It says, "Okay, sir or ma'am, we're gonna send somebody over there. If you can hear me, we're gonna send someone over there." And then she hangs up the phone.
Happy.
Oh boy.
So what do you guys do?
I actually want to test your theory about sleep. I can inflict nightmares, but we don't want our trainers scared. Put me to sleep.
Done.
It's okay.
All right, it hits. Then you fall asleep. You go in. You fall asleep, Lux. What are you guys? What
I'm
else?
sure
are you guys doing?
Lux is taking care of this. Stepped up to the plate. He's gonna get us some answers.
Eventually, you're going to hear the sound of sirens from the outside. Eventually, and there will be a couple people coming out, as well as, again, they don't know what kind of emergency is, so there'll be like some cop cars as well. So you can see that a couple of the Officer Jennies are going to make their way up at the apartment, and there'll be a knock on the door.
Can I interrupt
Okay.
really quick?
Yeah.
You say they arrived eventually, and I was going to have Bullet ask if he should like take anyone out somewhere, just so they're not.
Yeah,
There.
Remy was actually going to go to Bullet and say he's going to pick up Lux by the Dusk Skull sheet, and he's going to go towards Bullet. Just open your packs. You got to get out of here.
Do you want me to come back?
Not until this is quiet. And he wants to put Lux inside the pack.
Okay, so he'll just nod and turn. So his saddlebag is to Remy.
That little one can't be here. You got to go.
Okay, well then, just with another solemn nod, he'll turn and, well, I guess squeeze his way out the window again.
Okay.
Phone helps.
All right, everyone, be safe.
Good luck. Sorry I had to call the 991, but I just didn't know what else we could do.
Okay. Okay, so the only people who left the premises was Bullet and Lux. That's it? Everyone stayed behind? Okay. There's a knock on the door.
Scratch. Oh wait, the door.
The door was closed.
Yeah,
Lux did that.
Remy will nudge
Right.
Keith, try to wake up Keith. See if it works on him, even though it doesn't work on the other 5.
What happened?
Oh, thank God.
Oh, somebody is knocking. Who's knocking? He goes over and he looks through the keyhole, or not the keyhole, the eye hole, whatever you call that, and does, it's the Jennies! And then he opens the door and he raises up his arm and says, I didn't do it! I found them like this! I found them like this! My name is Keith Carmel of the Elmia Times! I'm just a reporter, that's all! I didn't even know about this! And the Jennies, are trying to calm him down, and, they start to come into the apartment that says, what happened here? And they're going to go to each of the people, they're going to check for their pulses, they'll find that they're breathing, they're going to, open their eyelids, shine a light through their eyelids, and they said they seem to be unconscious, but I don't think they can wake. We can wake them up here. We should send all of these people to the hospital. And the officer starts to question Keith about what's happening. He obviously didn't see much. He only tells them what he saw. And is Fabian still in his room? Or did you pull him out?
He's in the main room now.
He's in the main room now?
If Remy had anything to do with it.
Ma'am, take a look at this. She looks at him and says, it's probably a psychic child. I'm wondering if he must have done something to these people? Maybe by accident? Maybe. She says.
Fern jumps up and goes, shakes her head. No. Points at the boy. No.
Roll a command. I want to see how well you can communicate this to the officers. Roll a command, please.
I rolled a rod, so. Command.
7. They notice you and you're trying to communicate them, and they feel like you have something important to say, but they can't quite figure out what you're trying to communicate with them. It's just not coming out. So anyway, several of the nurse joys are going to come out from the ambulances. They have stretchers, so they're going to take all 5 of them, including Tiffany, on stretchers to get them to the hospital. As for the boy, they're going the Jennies are saying, find out who lives here and who this child is, and they're going to go through all the records, but they're going to take Fabian out and put him in one of the cop cars because they can't leave him alone by himself, obviously. And they said, should we sedate him, ma'am? Just in case. So they take out a shot, and they actually attempt to inject him with the shot. As soon as they try to inject him with the shot, Fabian whips out, and this big force pushes the Jenny back, and she falls over and lands on her bottom. And she says, ma'am, we might have to keep this boy down. And several of the Jennies go over to try to keep the Fabian down. He struggles for a bit, trying to push them back, but eventually a shot goes in. I'm gonna say, Remy, roll. You probably would be only the person who's familiar with this. Roll a general education or occult education. 10. Okay.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah.
So there is a drug that has been developed by the science community, which is a shot that basically sedates psychics' ability. It's called the psychic blocker and jammer. So if you inject a psychic with this, it pretty much nullifies their psychic abilities. This is something that's being used to keep psychics under control so that they're not wreaking havoc in society. So it's a psychic blocker and jammer, also known as PB&J. That's sort of like the slang. Give as a nice way of saying, just give the psychic some PB&J. It sounds like a nice thing, but they're just trying to stop them from using their psychic abilities. So he gives her a shot of PB&J, and then just in case he acts up again, and then they will take him back to the squad car. They manage to make him so that he's not floating upside down anymore, but they put him in the cop car, and the Jennies will say, what about all of these Pokemon here? They'll say they must be owned by the trainers. We should probably take them to the station as well. So they're going to pull out Pokeballs to put you in. No, do any of you resist being placed in a Pokeball
Remy's
by the
going.
officers?
Yeah, I know. Remy's going for the window as soon as he
All
sees a
right.
Pokeball.
Remy's
You
gonna
definitely
run for
resist,
the window.
yeah.
Okay. Resist you're gonna run, or resist
Well, he's gonna look really scared, and then back away as fast as he can.
Okay. The Jenny will say, it's okay, it's all right. We just need to get you somewhere safe, and we don't have cages for you, all of you Pokemon. This is the only way that we can keep you safe.
I will growl at the window and I'll say, Fern. Fern.
What does Fern do? Do you end up trusting the cops, or you end up? Okay. So
Is
Fern's
Cassie
gonna
still in the room?
Cassie's being taken out by a stretcher. They're all being taken out by stretchers. At this point, they're probably almost out the door. So.
Fern will jump on the stretcher, has Cassie on it, and sit next to her
Okay.
protectively.
And Remy
Okay.
jumps
Cassie's going
onto the
somewhere.
fire
She's
escape.
going.
All right. Is anyone else resisting?
I
Okay.
think the other two are gone. They've flown away.
All right. So Remy, you go off. Fern is going to sit by her. I think they'll be okay with you just sitting there because it doesn't look like you're doing anything. Ew, the Jennies are going to insist on putting you into a Pokeball, and you have a feeling they're not going to take no from an answer with their no for an answer.
You will he'll like he's kind of torn, like he doesn't want to go with these strange people, but at the same time he sees Tiffany being taken away.
Yeah, all of them are being taken away. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he sees Remy out on the fire escape.
So what do you do?
So upon seeing the Pokeball, like you keeps backing away and he joins Remy on the fire escape.
Okay. All right. How about Lux?
Lux is asleep in
Leave
Bullet's
this-
saddlebag.
That's right. Okay. So
Yeah.
the Jennies are going to go after you unless you guys leave. So are you and Remy just going to book it? Because that seems like
Book it.
the only way that you're going to escape
Oh, yeah.
from the Pokeball. If you just
Book it,
now.
book it, book it, book it.
All right. So the officers will run towards the window, and you guys will end up booking it. And you'll hear them on the radio telling the other Jennies that some of the Pokemon have run off, and the Jennies will say, we'll definitely try to keep an eye on them, but for the time being, our priority needs to make sure that all the people are healthy and safe. And so that's right now their top priority, since they're the ones that are in danger at the moment. Cool. So you go off. Lux is with Bullet, and then Fern is going to go with the cops. Okay.
Someone's got to keep an eye on.
All right. Fern, let me start with you. So
Okay.
first of all, you're gonna stay pretty much with Cassie the whole time. Okay. So they're gonna take them to the hospital right next.
Other people.
I'm sorry?
She's going to keep an eye on the other people as long as she can.
Sure. You're gonna take them. You're gonna take the cops. Yeah, I'm sorry. They're gonna take everybody over to the hospital. They're gonna be, taken to some sort of an emergency room. The doctors are going to try to determine what's wrong with these people. Is it psychic? Is it hypnosis? Right now, the doctors are thinking it's probably something psychic related. It's really hard to tell right now because they can't fall. They're asleep. It doesn't seem like it's a natural sleep. They can't get them to wake up. Signs are pointing to it being psychic in nature, but they're not absolutely sure. So they're trying to figure out ways to wake him up. You don't know where they've taken Fabian, because I'm assuming you're more concerned about Cassie, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So you don't know where they've taken Fabian. As for the rest of the group, you're trying to, I guess, find each other. The rest of the group are trying to find each other. So I'll give Remy and you a chance to interact with each other while they're running or booking it. You think you've lost the cops. So if you want to converse with each other, now is the time to converse with each other.
Remy will turn to Ooh. You made a good choice.
That telltale bar was going down. I was like, what is she gonna do? What is he gonna do?
Yeah, Ooh is still very shaken. Like he's starting to cry, like poison tears. Like they took her away. I don't know where they took her.
We know where they took her. They took her to get help, but you don't need to be in those balls, and it doesn't seem like you're very used to being alone. But it's important that you learn how to be alone.
And he just looks around and he says, well, what do we do now? I always just went with Tiffany.
And now you're going to go with you. You're going to decide how you're going to go, but I'll be here. You're not going to be alone. We're going to find Bullet. We're going to find the little runt, and we'll figure this out. But you're going to you're gonna have to learn to be comfortable like this.
You will start to calm down a little bit. He'll say, "Okay, okay, we have to find flying friend. We have to find a scary friend."
And then we'll do something.
And he just looks at Remy.
Don't overthink
and
things.
Just waits for him to make a move.
Don't overthink things and just follow me.
He nods. He kind of wipes his eyes. Okay, I'll follow.
Back to Fern real quick. So Fern, you spent all night with Cassie. The nurse Joys there are really nice. So they're monitoring Cassie's brain patterns, trying to see if there's going to be a change in her waking up. And the only thing that I would say is that you notice that's significant is that you catch sight of someone familiar walking past Cassie's doorway, and it's Lieutenant Jenny. Lieutenant Jenny is walking by Cassie's doorway. I don't know if you're gonna leave Cassie's side or you're just gonna stay put, or if you're leaving, stay put. But what do you do when he passes by?
Fern's going to follow him because he's important and knows stuff, and Fern wants to be able to tell the other Pokemon what's going down.
Okay. Are you gonna just spy on him? Are you just gonna keep your distance and spy on him?
Yeah,
Okay.
Try and stay close, but inconspicuous as a white Vulpix can.
All right. You're gonna leave and you're gonna spy on him and you're gonna follow Lieutenant Jenny. Lieutenant Jenny basically goes over to he's on his way out of the hospital. So he makes his way out. He gets a call from his walkie-talkie. He picks it up and says, "Lieutenant Jenny here. What is it, Jenny Sheraton?" And Officer Jenny Sheraton says, "Sir, we have her at the station, ready for your questioning." "Okay, I'll be right there." And he is going to go to his vehicle. I'll say that you'll be, just for storytelling purposes, you can sneak your way into the back of his car. Maybe he opened the door slightly just to he maybe had a duffel bag or something that he was carrying, and he throws a duffel bag in the back, and you can sneak your way, jump into the back. And he shuts the door and he drives to the police station. He'll then arrive at the police station and he'll make his way. He doesn't travel very far, so it's not like you have to sneak your way through the entire station. But he's basically making his way over to the interrogation booth. Now, what I will tell, just to help you out, again, and also to save some time, I'll say that you can make your way. You manage to figure out a way to get into the ventilation shafts, so that you could sort of listen in on what's happening in the interrogation room without being seen, just so that it can give you a little. Go ahead.
I feel like Fern's old Team Rocket Taskmaster trainer probably got Fern to do this quite a bit. So
for reconnaissance. So I'm sure you're used to this. I think you sneaking around, especially around cops, is probably something that makes sense for your character. So you go over into the ventilation shaft. So you're behind the grating, and you can feel a very cold breeze of the air conditioning going through the shafts, which feels great. Feels really good. And so you basically can see through the grating that there's a desk with a lamp, your typical interrogation desk with the lamp shining, and there's somebody seated at the chair. Lieutenant Jenny goes in to interrogate this person, and to your shock, the person that he's about to interrogate is Nausicaa Sinclair. So Nausicaa and Sinclair is sitting at that chair, and he sits down at the opposite of her. He has his arms folded, and he sits across from Nausicaa, and he says, "I just wanted to ask you several questions. My apologies that we had to apply the blocker to you. I hope you understand that it's not just for everybody's safety here, but for your safety as well. I just wanted to ask you a few questions. As long as you're able to cooperate, I'm sure that we both can get out of this as smoothly and as unscathed as possible. Can I count on you to do that for me, Miss Sinclair?" She sort of nods. "I understand that you know about what happened with the explosion?" "Yes. I did it. It was me." "It was you." "I was the one who hypnotized the boss, whatever his name, over at the delivery service in Celadon." At that, Kyle Jenny's like looking at her very carefully, and he's starting to write a bunch of notes down. "These are some very serious things that you're admitting to, Miss Sinclair. Why did you not come forward with this to me the other day when we were at the coffee shop, or much less at the scene?" She said, "I was scared, but I can't keep this a secret any longer. I have to come clean. I have to make sure the world knows why I did it." And at that point, Lieutenant Jenny is writing down in notes. "That is actually my next question. Why did you do this? Why did you go through the trouble of hypnotizing Mr. Huxley?" "Why indeed, Mr. Jenny? Why indeed? It's because I'm tired. Me and everybody else, like me, are tired. We're tired of being ignored. We're tired of being treated like second, third, fourth class citizens. We," he says, "don't play dumb. The psychics, the entire community, we're tired of this. And we just wanted to make a statement." At this point, Lieutenant Jenny leans back and he sort of rubs his eyes a bit. "That's a pretty violent statement, Miss Sinclair. You realize that statement that you made not only terrorized several people, but it killed several citizens, innocent citizens." "Oh, don't tell me about innocent. What about all the psychics that suffered? What about our pain? What about all the losses we had?" Lieutenant Jenny is trying to stay as calm as possible. And he continues in saying, "Who put yourself up to this? Did you work on your own, or are there other people that are also involved?" And she says, "Oh, there's other people involved as well. There's entire resistance of us who have been trying for years to come to a peaceful solution to give us our rights. And quite frankly, I'm just tired of it. If I have to be thrown in jail, if I have to be punished just to make a point, then so be it." And Lieutenant Jenny looks, "Well, okay, I have to say," he says, "I had completely wrong reading of you the other day when I was talking to you." And Noir just continues to spill out more information, and he said, "Can you give me some names of other people? Maybe we can contact them. Maybe we can try to come to some sort of peaceful solution." And at this point, Noir starts to stand up a little bit, but she's cuffed to the desk, so she can't stand up too much. And she says, "Mr. Jenny, with all due respect," she said, "we've tried a peaceful solution and we're tired of it." She says, "Either you meet our demands now, or more people will die." And the interrogation continues on, and finally he wraps things up, and they will end up taking.
Insight check him to see if he because I know he was at the hospital where other Noor was.
Yeah,
and this can't be the same person. So
he was,
can
but I don't know if he necessarily saw Noir there. I think he was at the
Can I
hospital.
Can I insight him to see if he was?
Sure, go ahead. 6? you wouldn't be able to tell if he believes what's happening or not. Right now, he seems to be believing what she's saying.
Whoa.
And so she's being taken away. She's being cuffed and being taken away. And the officer, one of their officer, Jenny's, comes in, and she was also listening. And she says, "Well, what do you think?" Jenny, the lieutenant, is rubbing his eyes. "Well," he says, she confessed. We have a confession. We have motive. It makes a lot of sense. That after talking with Huxley, I thought something weird was happening. I don't think that he purposely allowed that package to go through, so somebody hypnotizing it to do it makes a lot of sense." And then the officer, Jenny, says, "But," and then Kyle looks at her again. He says, "But?" It looked like you were about to say a but, Kyle. I know you. There's something else that's still bothering you. I don't know. I don't know. Something just doesn't feel right. And then at that point, he leaves. And as soon as he leaves, you can follow him, by the way. You can continue to follow him. And right outside the door is this woman is right outside the door. And he recognizes her completely. And he says, "Miss Kearney, what a surprise." And Miss Kearney, she's wearing a very, very, she's wearing her power suit, basically. And she says, "Lieutenant, good to see you. I decided to drop by to find out if you've gotten any leads on what's happened over at the terrorist attack." And he says, "Come to my office." And she'll follow him. You can follow them to the office through the ventilation shafts. He'll go over to his desk and he says, "Miss Kearney, may I offer you a drink? Any tea, coffee?" And she says, "I'm fine, Lieutenant. This is not meant to be a very long visit. I just wanted to find out if you know anything at all during your interrogations." He says, "Well, we haven't really... I don't think I'm allowed to officially release anything to you right this moment, Miss Kearney." She says, we're still doing a bunch more investigating, and I don't think I want to go public with anything." And Miss Kearney looks very upset at this. And he says, "Now, Lieutenant," she says, "we've been through this before. And I think that I have spoken with the commissioner and we've had an understanding knowing that we would be very transparent about anything that you have discovered. It's important for the people to know, especially for all those lives out there who's been lost. Those families want an answer." And Kyle says, "I understand. It's only been a couple of days. Do you at least have something that I can bring back at all, Kyle?" And Kyle's he's looking at her very carefully. And there's a bit of a power struggle between the two. Clearly, though, she's the one that's higher up in power, and he's struggling right now on where he can overstep his bounds or not overstep his bounds. Finally, he sighs. "We have a possible, nothing confirmed yet, possible confession." "Oh? From whom?" "I'm not releasing any names right now. I'm not," he says, "but we have somebody who said that they may have been involved." She says, "Well, if somebody confessed, then what more investigating do you need? We have somebody's confessed." And he says, I just have a feeling." "You have a feeling. Lieutenant, we don't pay you to have a feeling. We pay you to get good results." She says, I told all of Kanto that we would have order, that I would demand order, and we will have order, and I need to make sure that there is something that needs to be done, that we do it swiftly and quickly. Nip it at the bud." He sighs. "We believe it may, I don't want you to jump into conclusions, may have something to do with the psychic community." but we don't know for sure. And at this, the Miss Kearney has a very bit of a sort of a not so surprised look on her face. She says, I knew it. We've been having issues with the psychics and their civil rights movement lately. They've gotten a lot more violent. It looks like they've decided to take it to the next level. And Lieutenant Kyle says, now, Miss Kearney, he says, I don't think that you should put anything out in public yet. At least give me just a couple more days to figure things out before you release anything. And Miss Kearney looks at him with a little bit of disdain. And she says, Mr. Jenny, you don't tell me how to do my job, and I won't tell you how to do yours. If you wish to remain on this case, if you wish to still have the resources at your disposal to continue doing your work, then I highly suggest you end the conversation here. And at that, Lieutenant Jenny doesn't say anything further except, of course, Miss Kearney. Now, if you excuse me though, I would like to get some of my work done, and I'm sure you have plenty to do yourself. And Miss Kearney nods and says, yes, there's much work that needs to be done indeed. And she will get up and she will leave his office. Yes, go ahead, Fern.
As soon as he's alone, Fern is going to bust in there.
Okay.
Sit down and go to like a little piece of paper and like put a plus sign of like the hospital type thing.
Okay.
And then I assume he has pictures of Nor on the desk because he's been investigating her or something.
Sure. Yeah.
And she's going to like go to that and like do like 2 marks and go and like point to the plus.
Lieutenant is looking at it, and he's first of all, he's surprised that this random Vulpix just busted into his office. But when the Vulpix looks like she's got some sort of agenda, he's watching her curiously, and she's trying to put in some marks, put down the marks. And he's looking, and he's like, "What are you trying to tell me?"
Kind of indicates to follow.
Hold on one moment. He then goes over to there's a button by his desk, and he presses it. Officer Jenny Sheraton. Yes, Lieutenant. Sheraton, I need some help. Do we still have our intern? Is she in this morning? Yes, she is. Could you please send her into my office as soon as possible, please? Of course. You wait a few minutes, and then the door opens, and this girl comes into the office. Her hair is not dyed blue yet, but she is wearing sort of like the uniform from the academy. And she comes in and she gives a salute, and she says, You needed me, Lieutenant? Have a seat, Lieutenant Kyle Jenny says, and Ginevra has a seat, and he says, it's Ginevra, right? And Ginevra says, actually, I'm not really fond with my full name. Only my parents really use my full name. At the academy, people kind of call me Nevi, just to keep things in, I guess, just to tell me apart as easily. Nevi, I remember talking to you before. You've been studying linguistics, right? Pokemon linguistics. She perks up a little bit. Yes, sir. Yes, I have. And he says, I think I might need to use some of your skills. There's he points over at the Vulpix. Can you figure out what she's saying? Yes, sir. I can give it a try. Nevi says. Nevi goes over to the Vulpix and she says, "Hi. My name is, well, Officer in Training Nevi. What are you trying to say?"
There are two Noahs. Go to the hospital.
Two. I heard her say two. Hospital. Two in hospital is what I got from her. And Kyle Jenny is just studying this, and he says, "That's very impressive. You got all that from her sounds? Well, you know, there's a few nuances that each Pokemon has, and you just kind of have to figure out their intentions as much as possible. That's quite a gift," Kyle Jenny says. "Thank you, sir."
Ben's also tapping the picture of Noah and going, to, and then resting, and then going,
Huh. I think we should go to the hospital. Can you take us? Lieutenant Jenny says to Fern. She says yes.
nonsense.
Nevi says. All right. He takes his jacket from the rack, and he goes out the door with Fern, and it looks like Nevi is about to split off with him, and then Lieutenant says, "Where do you think you're going, Officer Nevi?" And Nevi says, "Oh, I thought that you were done with me, sir." So he says, "No, you should come with." "Really?" "Yeah, come with. We could use you a little bit further, maybe." And Officer Nevi says, "Sure, of course, sir, right away, sir." And she will follow him out the door. Okay, now let's get back to what's going on with you guys. So, thank you for your patience. Had to dump a lot of things at you. Okay, so I will say that Lux will eventually wake up.
Oh, damn, it didn't work.
Yes, it didn't work, unfortunately. And Bullet, you will notice that Lux is awake. Bullet, you've been flying around trying to find the others. You went back to the apartment, everybody was gone. And what do you guys do?
I mean, so if we went back to the apartment and see everyone gone, would we have had time to settle down somewhere again?
Yeah.
Keith's house was only a few down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then he probably would have settled there, like set Lux down inside and like sat in the window.
Okay.
So,
do you guys converse at all now that Lux is awake?
Plan didn't work.
all right. So, he'll perk up, finally hearing another voice, and, glance back, say, "Well, you didn't get to talk to him?"
No. Just normal sleep.
Well, what did you dream about?
I don't remember.
Darn. I was hoping we'd get a clue.
Same.
Well,
Where's
I
here?
haven't
This
haven't
isn't
seen the others yet.
place.
Sorry, what?
Where's here? This isn't the other place.
Oh, this is Inky's trainer's home.
Oh, the bird person Pokemon.
Yeah, he nods.
What happened with her human? Or with her? Or with any of our friends?
I don't know. I left. Oh, here's what happened, by the way.
Yes!
All right.
Trigger!
Fern called the police, but then we didn't all want the police to show up, and we especially didn't want the police to find you, I guess. And so Remy had you stuffed in my saddlebag, and so then I flew you down here, and I dumped you out, and I let you sleep so you could, be our super spy on the inside and talk to the humans again, and I waited and stayed put and tried to find the others. It didn't work.
No, it didn't. But it was the right call getting me out of there.
Now that you're awake, though, we could fly and try to look for him again.
Yeah. Yeah, we should. Just try to remember this place. We at least have a human here who knows where our humans are, in theory.
All right, so he'll get down from the window and let.
Up
Well, I guess
into
you're
the
not on the
saddle.
saddlebag this time. Yeah, you can
Okay.
be on the saddle. So
We'll-
so Bullet will take off and just try to find him again.
All right.
I can perception if you want.
We'll say that you guys will spend time trying to find each other, and you will eventually find each other the next day. So, as in, while all of this is going on with Fern and the lieutenant, because all of that was happening the next morning. So, you guys end up finding each other around where Chase used to hang out, I guess. That might.
So is this like hours later then?
Yeah, there's several hours later.
Okay.
The four of you at least will be able to meet up, and you will find each other, and that way all four of you can now be together. And once you guys find each other, there'll be like a nearby, I guess, like hardware store where there's a TV playing and there's some people are passing by who's watching the TV because the late Miss Kearney has an announcement to make to the public. Of course she does. She says, "Citizens of Kanto, I am here to inform you of some latest developments concerning the terrorist attack that occurred in our dear city in Saffron. We have reason to believe that those responsible are a part of a group of rebellious psychics whose goal is to instill fear in all of us in order to meet their demands. I, for one, do not believe that such things should be done with violence, and therefore we are going to take matters in our own hands. Effective immediately, there is going to be a curfew. All psychics are not to leave their premises between the hours of 10 o'clock p.m. to 6 o'clock a.m. This is simply a safety measure, not only for the safety of non-psychics, but psychics alike. At least until further notice once the perpetrators have been caught. This is not meant to be a punishment, this is meant to be a safety precaution. I hope everyone here understands that safety is the 100% top priority. It certainly is my priority. And hopefully that will be enough for us to weed out those who wish to give the rest of the psychic community a bad name. And several of the people who are watching the TV are saying, well, it's about time. He says, yeah, I'm actually surprised that she hasn't done that sooner. And a good number of the people watching are agreeing, like, yeah, like, if this is what the psychics are doing now, like, we're not going to stand up for it. We're not going to tolerate it. She continues on and on and on about how, it's everybody must do their part, everybody must be vigilant, yada, yada, yada. And she'll end her message. And at this point, this seems to be the general thing if you're overhearing other people's conversations going through the day, the whole debate about should we not. There seems to be a very good number of people who support her, I guess, stricter policies now. There are a few people who are saying no, like these, like psychics have a right to, express it and try to have rights. But then, of course, there's the argument, well, they shouldn't do it violently. And yeah, so you can kind of feel a lot of tension throughout the city right now about this new order. And a lot of people who seem to be psychic sympathizers are being not blamed, or having suspicion of being psychic themselves. And they're like, oh, are you psychic and you're not registered? Oh, there's a little bit of a semi-witch hunt going on now of who is and who isn't psychic.
Bullet covers his mouth in a wide yawn.
Looks at Remy. Your human gonna be okay?
More just flying all night without sleep.
I don't know if she will be okay, but this is why I don't trust them.
Hmm.
You trust her, though, right?
You know what I trust less than all humans? Psychics.
Oh. Well, then this must be kind of weird.
This has not been a good 24 hours for me.
Are you tired too?
Not right now. I think I just want to get Noir back.
Well, we know where she is, right?
We do.
You still don't seem super hyped about that.
Just debating where she's safer. With her own kind or on the run.
So they were all taken to the same place, right?
To be cared
Nothing
for,
else
I would
happened?
presume. That's what I heard. Not entirely sure how it is that Pokemon can go in there and break them all out at this point. I think they're in there to get care, but I don't think she's going to wake up to a very good morning.
Mm,
No.
Humans tend to frown upon, breaking other humans out.
What are you all thinking? I know that I've heard a lot of things in the last few days that suggest that there's a lot of history that people don't want resurfaced, not by the authorities. People do very stupid things when they get confronted by the authorities. I think Noir is one of them.
She just has the potential to be.
How are you going to get him out of there?
I have not gotten that far.
I mean, maybe we should just go see if they're awake yet.
If Chase were awake, I think he'd be here. Unless they have him somewhere else.
Well, I don't want to do anything to get on their bad side.
Well, I'm going to hover around the hospital. I'm going to see if I can pick anything else up. I'm going to see if Fern ever turns up.
So in that case, do you want me to hang back, not go in yet?
I think if you can keep Lux with you, I think that'd be a good plan for now. If you ever have to get away, take Lux and fly.
Yeah,
Lux
no,
shouldn't
I could do that.
be in this city. Everyone needs to acknowledge that.
I've been fine on the city on my own before. No offense to you. I have gone off and done my own thing from time to time.
You have. A little Pokemon like you.
Sizes run me up and down. You're not that much bigger than me.
You know how to take care of yourself?
Pretty much.
And how'd you learn how to take care of yourself?
By actually taking care of myself.
He looks at Ooh. He looks at Bullet. Good.